States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have the invocation by Reverend Don Thursby of the Little Church of the Desert.
And I made it this time. Sorry about that. Post-surgery medicine does better than any sermon I have. Let's pray. Our Lord and our God, we are grateful for the gift of another day, grateful for the sunshine. Wish we had some more rain, so we lift that up to you. But as we gather now in particular, we trust that your Spirit will move among us, and especially among the members of the council, the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, to the extent that each and every one of them will be filled with a spirit of guidance and inspiration that will help us to see our way through this new reality that we have in this post-COVID time. Watch over each of them, especially with the challenging decisions that have to be made, because not all decisions are popular. But we pray that you will help them to do what is right and best, even if it doesn't always sound like the best way to the public. Grant them the courage to stand by their convictions as they make these decisions and as they seek to do what will be in the best interest of our city, our region, our state, and this great nation of which we are a part. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Roll call.
Councilmember Bildering,
Here.
Councilmember Mintz,
Here.
Councilmember Klink,
Barely here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Here.
Mayor Ogilvy,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. As far as closed session announcements, there are none. Any changes to the agenda? And there are none. Announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on demand on the City of Twentynine Palms website at www.twentyninepalms.org. You may also live stream this meeting by going to the city's website and clicking on the meeting agenda link. Awards, presentations, and proclamations.
Come on up.
It's not as biting season.
There you go. So before I give you this money, won't you tell us where you cleaned up? Can't remember?
No.
Somewhere in the city though, right? 29 Palms?
There's a lot of garbage.
A lot of garbage? Very good. Well, we really do appreciate it. And so on behalf of the city and Burtech, we do want to present you with these checks and say thank you very much for helping to keep 29 Palms clean, all right? Thank you.
Next, we have a presentation for Captain Luke Niles. Good evening. I don't want to let you go. We want to keep you. But I know you have to go and join your family. But the City of 29 Palms was all the better for your leadership, and we thank you. Words cannot even describe what you have done for this community, for this city. So we appreciate you, and we wish you well in retirement.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out with us last month.
Would you
We
like
had
to say
fun.
something?
I'll say something briefly, and this is appropriate for him too. When I'm done, I'll introduce my replacement because the sheriff has made that selection. Let me start first just by saying thank you, Mayor, all my council members, and Steve, my old Marine buddy, a softball friend, and fellow resident for a long time here in the basin. Thank you all for everything. All the staff in the town, in the city, on both ends of the basin has made my job very easy. And my job is the same as your job at the end of the day. We're just trying to make our communities better places for all of our fellow residents. And I think working together, we've done a lot of good things in the last 4 years since I've been here, but really it's bittersweet for me. This is kind of full circle for me. In the 25 years I've been out here, this is where I started my law enforcement career. I was a deputy sheriff in 29 Palms. I was the detective of 29 Palms. And it's kind of special that my last council meeting is the captain here in 29 Palms. So absolutely blessed for the opportunities I've had, all the friendships I've made, and all the residents I've got to work with and for. You can't ask for more than that. So thank you all. And I'm proud to introduce my replacement is Robert Warwick. So I'll give you a quick bio just so everybody gets to know him ahead of sitting down with him. He's been with us since 1999. Like all deputies, we do our time in corrections. But Robert's had a lot of very special assignments. He's worked at our academy. He was a homicide detective. At one time, that's where we first met, when we were working homicide together. Then he came out here for a while as a sergeant in the Morongo Basin, so he has some local knowledge. He knows what we're about and what we need to make our community better. And then he got lucky enough to get promoted, and he ran a homicide team for a while. And he got promoted from that and ran our entire public affairs division for the whole department as a lieutenant. And then ultimately he is the executive officer at UKIPA right now, soon to take over my post. So glad to have him. He was our choice for making the Morongo Basin the same exact model that we have always had. He comes with the knowledge of how to do that, and he has the experience to make it better than I ever could have. So look for great things from him. So welcome, Robert. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Want me to hold that? Yeah. I tried. I tried. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. Thank you. You want one with me and Robert? Wait, I don't know. Are we smiling or not smiling?
We're happy.
Okay, you're smiling. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Council comments and reports of meetings attended. We'll start with Councilmember Klink.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, it's July, our first meeting, so I want to wish everybody that's celebrating a birthday, happy birthday in 29 Palms and the Morongo Basin. I attended the ribbon cutting for our trail, bike trail that we're having here on the channel. It's going to be exciting to get that all done. I'd like to see it go from Lupine all the way down to the park, but that might come later on, maybe after I'm gone. But I'll try and keep as much of it going as possible to get that all done. Other than that, do stay hydrated, drink lots of water. We're going to be 110 for like 4 days and then down to a whopping 109 or 107. So just drink lots of water and stay cool.
Thank you, Mayor. At the end of the last month, we went to the air quality district meeting in Victorville, passed the budget. Everything seems to be going well. It's interesting because we're getting some more rules from the federal government, but California has the most strictest rules of anybody, but there's trying to lay more, but we'll see how that goes. Went to the 4th of July celebration at Knott's. It was Park and Rec District, again, did a great district twice. Job doing their job. Lots of kids played in the slides, so the fireworks were good, so it was a good time by all. Went to the ribbon cutting trail ceremony, and I also pulled my papers yesterday to run for re-election for the city council. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, the last couple weeks I've been chasing around all the 29 Palms Little League All-Star teams. As a city, all our teams made a great showing in our district. A lot of them won the district and went to sectionals, probably came up short there, but we had one team, the junior softball, took second in state and almost got that bid. The regionals, we were right there. The parents were already making hotel reservations, and then it came up short. But congratulations to them for going that far. I believe that's the farthest a team has gone from 29 Palms. Congratulations to Captain Niles on his retirement. Hope he catches a lot of fish, and welcome aboard as the new captain. That's all I got.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let's see, I did attend the bike trail ribbon cutting ceremony, and want to say congrats to Captain Niles for his retirement, and welcome to the new captain. And also yesterday, I got to celebrate the birthday of a woman in 29 Palms, her 100th birthday, and it was awesome. Miss Josephine Bizarro. It was a great time. We, really celebrated her. Congressman gave her a congressional something, and then Don Raw had something for her, and Shannon Groves gave her a certificate as well from the Senate. So it was an awesome time. We really greatly appreciate it. And I do want to remind everyone that this is 29 Palms, so drink a lot of water, drink till your feet slosh, so you stay hydrated. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I also attended the 4th of July celebration. It was so many people there. I was truly taken aback. I was amazed at the amount of people. It's like all of 29 Palms showed up at Knott Sky Park. Park and Rec did an amazing, phenomenal job in setting everything up, and people appeared to have enjoyed it and talked about it for days. So what an amazing thing. Also, I was present at the bike trail ribbon cutting ceremony. Can't wait to see that happen. And I also had the privilege to speak before Congress, the Bureau of Land Management, requesting some 20 acres for the bike show. And so we'll hear about that. And then also, I don't know if I said it before, but I did also attended the Juneteenth celebration. And let's see. Also, finally, what I did was I did a ride-along. And that was really eye-opening and amazing for me. It lets me know that I've been here for almost 30 years, just shy of 30 years, and things have changed. And we need to possibly look into how we can make our citizens more safe, make 29 Palms a safer place to be. On the outside it looks like it's calm, almost like that deep water. It looks calm on top, and it's not really that calm. So maybe there's something that we can come together and look to see if we can get more patrols in the area. But it was very eye-opening, very informative, and I would like to give a shout-out to Deputy Stumble and Deputy Gonzalez. I wrote both of them, and really fun. I told them the only thing I could help them to do is, since I've never fired a gun, is I could possibly run over a bad guy in a car. That's about the extent that I could do and scream. But anyway, it was really enlightening, and I did feel safe attending that thing, the ride-along. So that was it for me. I wanted to get back there. I have before. It's no room. You don't want to be a bad guy. It's no room in the back seat. There is not room in the back seat of the squad cars. But I have a sister. Okay. No, I have a sister who works for the police department in Texas, and
Hey, Mac, real quick, did she get 100 birthday cards?
Oh, yes. She
Did she?
actually got over 100.
Oh,
very
good.
good.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
All righty, so we're going to move on now. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and will be acted upon by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the city council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on consent calendar items prior to the city council action. Okay, do we have, yes,
If I may comment just on the consent calendar before the council takes any action. On item number 9, the award of Lucky Park full rehabilitation contract, I just want to emphasize again on that, although what we're doing this evening is considering awarding the contract for the pool, as the council recalls last meeting, we were underfunded by $1.4 million, and Assembly Member Chad Mays came to the city's rescue, if you will, within the state budget, and was able to get $1.3 million in the state budget to close that gap. So I just wanted to just make that statement before the council, acts on the consent calendar.
okay. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone in the council that would like to pull an item from the consent calendar? Anyone in the audience who would like to comment on a specific item on the consent calendar? Okay, if there is none, then I'm looking for a motion.
I move we accept the consent calendar, but I'll abstain from item number 5. That's part of Project Phoenix warrant register.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay. And next we'll have public hearings. Twenty-nine Palms. Go ahead.
Members of the council, the item in front of you this evening is a public hearing. So, Madam Mayor, after I present my staff report, if you could open up the public hearing, please.
Yes.
The recommendation of staff is to confirm the resolution of the City Council, confirm the diagonal assessment, and the levying assessment pursuant to the Lighting and Landscape Act of 1972, fiscal year 22-23. Just by way of background, this is an annual report that the staff puts in front of the council each and every year. We have 2 areas of a lighting and landscape district. One is Historic Plaza, and the other is Desert Vista, a housing tract. These amounts are assessed annually on the property tax roll due to the county assessor by the beginning of August. Historic Plaza will be increasing by inflation. However, Desert Vista will not. It will stay the same. The reason for that and what it will do is deficit spend in that assessment district, but that is intentional. In the beginning of this lighting and landscape district, because of the initial plans that were there that were not realized, we have accumulated a balance that's in excess. So what we're going to start doing, we started last year and we're going to continue doing that, is drawing down that excess savings, if you will, by not increasing it by inflation. So this is what's in front of the council this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I'll now open it to the public. Any questions? Okay, if there's no one with any questions, I'll close it and bring it back to the council.
What resolution is it, Cindy?
Resolution number?
Are you ready for a motion? No?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2219.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Frank. Next. Frank, are you there?
Oh, yes. So item number 15, just by way of background, it's the same, similar to the prior item. It's the resolution authorizing the placement of sewer fees and delinquent sewer charges on the fiscal year 22-23 tax roll. Again, very similar to the prior one. This is due to the county assessor by the early August, so they could place it on the tax rolls. So the recommendation is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Twentynine Palms authorizing the placement of sewer fees on the delinquent charges on the fiscal 22-23 tax roll. So just by way of background, beginning March of 2021, the sewer system began operations in Project Phoenix. The area that it served is from Tamarisk to Cholla and all the businesses in between. Ultimately, then connecting Project Phoenix or Freedom Plaza buildings to the system. The council adopted the rate and study back in February of 2021. At the time, we were in the midst of COVID. So council gave the direction not to charge these fees until January of 2022. So starting January 2022, staff has been sending out the invoices, if you will, to each of the customers in the general area, most of which have been paying, some of which, the city had to, collect delinquent fees. For that. One of the typical processes that sewer agencies, now this is a public sewer service, does for that very reason is collection, is to put it on a property tax roll. The big reason there is you can't really turn off that service. Most other utilities, water, electric, gas, etc., you don't pay your bill, you turn off your service. That is just not the case with the sewer. So for a means of collection, putting up property tax rolls more efficient. It's not any more cost to the customer. It's just a means of collection without billing it on a monthly basis. So that concludes my staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the staff, from the council? I open up for questions from the public. Thank you. Ellen Leslie? Eileen Leslie?
Good evening.
Hello.
So I have two issues, and I didn't know whether to split them or not because they're unrelated, actually, to the sewer. I own two of the businesses within the project, 73529, 73527. They both will show up as delinquent. 73527 I paid today. I'm here with regard to 73529. It's been, in my belief, mischaracterized, and thus it's been miscalculated. It's currently commercial general. You'll know it as west of Papa John, the old pool retail space. I obtained a CUP from the city, and within that CUP, I'm allowed 2 years in order to develop it and actually change the use to bar. But I'm being charged at bar rates. So between the restaurant bar next door that I own, the bistro, and the new place that hasn't even been built out, I think $177 when I don't have the water on, compared to, there's one for a store at $2.48, and I think there's an $8 one. So that's my first issue. I would ask you kindly, please, especially because I plan on developing it, I'm in the throes of doing that, that we recharacterize that. It's not a bar yet, or I would be slinging drinks, I guess, right? And ABC would certainly want to know if I have a bar right now. Okay, then the second issue, which really addresses the property tax bill, I think the problem for me is, I think this is unduly burdensome for actual property owners. Now, I plan on being an owner-operator, but that's not necessarily going to be my end role. It may be that when the Hilton moves in or whatever hotel is built out, it may be better for the city and for me that I have another operator that I rent to in the restaurant, not the bar, because I have rules with regards to the bar. So I think that by allowing that on the property tax, what you're really doing is you're creating a relationship between the city and the landlord. So I'm really talking about not me, maybe future me, maybe other landlords. And rather than having a relationship between the city and the end user. And that's going to be whatever tenant is in there. For me, it would be me right now. I'm the owner-operator. I'll be the owner-operator. But we already have tenants that are in those, and I could see that's a problem. Perfect example. If you have a tenant that's not making it, it's hard to run a restaurant. People have dreams and hopes, and that's great. And hopefully they'll bring some here and be successful. However, with restaurants, we know that that can be difficult. And I'm really about the restaurant part, because that's one of the highest fees that we have on the chart. Allowing that bill to be hit in April and December, and from the way Frank said, it seems like it's almost once a year. You don't have really a landlord having any control over that. And yet you could have a tenant that's in default on their rent, and you have no way to collect that. So now it's really unduly burdensome is how I see it to the landlord. Like, there's no protection there. There's no in between. So it may be better that whoever's on that rental agreement is the person that's getting billed. And I'm not so certain that that billing should be out a whole year or wait till property tax time, billing time, because people can control their bills. I have a tenant that their water bill was crazy, $700. Everybody freaks out. And all I had to do was remind them for them to go and tell their employees. That bill went down to $300. So not only were we being great with regards to conservation, no one was shocked how outrageous that bill was. And so that would be my argument for not putting it on there. And for me to be recharacterized or uncharacterized.
Thank you. Cindy Bernard?
Hi, y'all. I just wanted to quickly point out something. I know the fees have already been decided, and this is not really a discussion about the fees, and it's just about them going onto the rolls. But I did want to point out that this is a $67,000 subsidy for the 15 businesses that are around Project Phoenix. And I don't want to see them get reamed by these sewer fees, of course, but I am concerned about businesses receiving a $67,000 subsidy that the rest of us are paying. And this is in addition to the sort of subsidy that you gave STR owners when you reduced their permit fees like $300 below what the staff recommendation was, which means that those costs are not being covered by the STR fees. So I just want to point out, I think that amounted to like a $53,000 subsidy. So I just wanted to, for the record, point that out. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then we will move on. Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
Apologize.
Madam Mayor, would you like me to address those two comments from the public?
You can. Yes.
Okay, so the first one, and Miss Leslie left me a voicemail message today. Unfortunately, I could not get back with her, so I apologize for that. So here's the challenging part of what the request is you know, what point in time do you make that, you know, change to a bar? She did point out and is correct that the Planning Commission did give her a CUP for a bar, but she's also correct that it is not operating as a bar. There are other businesses, maybe one or two in the downtown area that doesn't have a tenant currently that it is still paying. So what you typically do, and just like with any of your utility, there is always a basic charge for that capacity, and that's what that capacity payment is for. So that's a challenge from a staff perspective. It is kind of traditional from a highest and best use. It was approved as one, a bar, but yes, it is not operating currently. Staff can take whatever direction from the council that you so choose, but that is how we went forward with that, with the highest and best use based on the approval. The second comment this evening is true, is accurate. The general fund does subsidize the enterprise fund for the operation. And I just want to point out that this is one of the biggest issues with package treatment plants. They're not efficient. They are small. They just don't have the critical mass, for them. One of the things that we try to do to not gouge the tenants or the customers, if you will, is to look at the Yucca Valley's rates with a big municipal system and try to bring it, as close as possible to a big municipal system. And with that, it creates that subsidy. Same issue that all the package treatment plant operators do have, because they just don't have the customer base. Smaller plants are just less efficient. So anyway, I just wanted to make those two comments on both of those items. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
I have a question for Frank. Frank, as more businesses open or more businesses are built, when they add on to the sewer system, that reduces the amount we have to subsidize, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, and the next one that will connect, the large one that will connect, but there will actually be two components of this. Will be the potential hotel going into Project Phoenix. So that will be a big municipal customer. But on top of that, the package treatment plant will be in operation. So the cost will actually increase, but yes, there'll be more revenue into it. Right now, there's just the sewer and a large septic tank operated by San Bernardino County Special Districts. So to your point, yes, there'll be more customers, more revenue coming in, but also there'll be more expense with the package treatment plant as well. So we're updating probably by January, I think, of 2023. We'll have an updated wastewater study, rate study for downtown, and at that time we'll see, how that equates with both of those two variables.
Well, all I know is if each business had an independent septic tank, to get it pumped now, they have to take it all the way to Landers, and it's over $300 just for one tank, and that's if they can get it all on one truck. So that's the minimum. And as a business that runs a bar or restaurant, you're looking at least pumping at least once a year, so, and possibly twice, depending on how busy the business is. So I definitely, I feel that.
Hey, I have a question for Frank too. Frank, is there any look to the future of putting residential on that septic or that sewer in the area?
Yeah. So as the council will recall, I think it was last year we bought that triplex right next to where the package treatment plant was going to be for expansion. So right now the package treatment plant has a 32,000 gallon a day capacity, which is just enough for the downtown area only. The expansion will allow whoever wants to expand into it up to another capacity. Maybe it would double it. We haven't had the full calculations yet, but it could be the residents to the south. It could be the businesses both to the east and west. And in theory, it could even cross State Route 62 potentially. So yeah, we're expanding the plant to have more capacity, and then those in surrounding areas could connect.
Any other questions? Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Motion?
Talk about her situation not being a bar, not open, she has to pay. Because it was like $8 before. I think it was Crystal Blue used to do the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think that number was like $8 for the whole time. And now she got approved to be a bar before it was open, and now she's gonna have to pay a penalty because
Yeah, because you only have 2 years, right, for, yeah. So, well, I'm okay if we reduce it down, it's just a regular, obviously, one toilet.
Okay, so how do we need to handle that?
So I need to correct the resolution. I gave you the wrong number just now because the lighting and landscaping should be 2220. This next one should be 2221.
So, do you want me to do we need to redo the number 14?
No, I'll just correct it on
Oh,
your
okay.
minutes and
So this one's 21, okay.
So 14 is 2220 and 15 is 2221.
correct.
Okay. All right. So then now I'm looking for a motion.
Well, I'll make the motion, we adopt resolution number 2221 with the exception of that we'll roll back the, I guess, Frank, how should we word that part of it? It was just the pool, the clear pool building? Would that make-
Yeah. So the difference, just so the council understands that, it's all about water usage, right? A retail place basically has a toilet and a sink. Restaurants and bars have more people flushing, more water flowing. So that's why the difference in the two. So as amended, as far as the recommendation, as amended on to adjust whatever APN number, and we can correct it in a note.
Okay.
APN number for the former Crystal Pools building to the prior use.
Okay, well, Cindy, I'll put that in my resolution, then, in my motion.
All that. Well, it'd be easier if she just transcribed it.
All that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Bilderrain,
Aye.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0 as amended.
Okay. All righty. Discussion and potential action items.
That would be me, Mayor Ogilvy.
Me?
Me.
You?
Me.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, council members, League of California Cities holds an annual conference, and at each conference they have a business meeting where cities are given the opportunity to vote on league resolutions. These resolutions set the policy direction for the California League of Cities. So the city council must appoint or officially select a delegate and an alternate delegate to participate on the voting of these resolutions at the conference. So at this time, I'm looking for nominations or volunteers to be delegate and alternate.
Okay.
I can't go.
Well, I'm going.
Are you willing?
Yeah, I'm willing to do it, because I'm driving this time, so I don't have to catch the plane at 12 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. So yes, I would volunteer to do that.
Anyone as an alternate?
I can do it. I'm going as well.
Thank you.
So we have Councilmember Mintz as a delegate and Councilmember Klink as the alternate.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And are you doing the water district ad hoc, Frank? Okay. Frank, it's to you.
Yeah, I'll be handling that. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The item in front of you this evening is a recommendation to form an ad hoc committee, the 29 Palms Water District, and appoint 2 members from the city council to be on that committee. Just by way of background, ad hoc is the Latin phrase for this. That for this will be surrounded by wastewater related discussions. The city and district staff have been working together on planning, but we also need to collaborate on the elected officials from each entity. There are a lot of decision points and discussions that need to take place, some of which is location of plants, phasing the project, the USGS study, reuse of the effluent, outreach, and et cetera. So just some of the topics that could be discussed within that meeting. And again, staff would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
I had spoke with Frank previously, and I'm willing to be a part of that group. Is there anyone else? Okay. Okay, so then, back in.
Mayor Ogilvy and Mayor Pro Tem Wright.
Yes.
Is everybody in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 18 is purchase of the property for MBTA, Morongo Basin Transit Agency. Recommendation from staff is the City Council authorize the city manager to release payment for vacant land in furtherance of the ultimate transfer station for $80,000 as indicated in the stipulated judgment. Just by way of background, $80,000 is the cumulative amount. We have we have $46,575 on deposit. The remaining balance is $33,425. There are 5 parcels there, and I just want to emphasize these 5 parcels are all vacant land. There's no structures on them. All vacant land for a total of 34,500 square feet. The MBTA, as the city is the lead agency on this. We're a member of the JPA within the Morongo Basin Transit Authority. So we're acting as the lead agency here. Ultimately, the MBTA will repurchase all of this from the city once acquired. We have already acquired one piece of property, which is that duplex right behind Weefels. So that's the only structure that has been purchased. Then in addition to that will be this land that we're talking about this evening. Just a way of further background, this one property owner was never engaging with the city. The city numerous times through phone calls and letters and et cetera, tried to contact them and to no avail. And so we went through the legal process with a complaint. And ultimately, we got the attention of the property owner and offered fair market value and negotiated a little bit more than fair market value with the property owner, which the MBTA agreed to. And so hence the transaction is complete pending council approval. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, Madam Mayor.
Any questions from the council? Any questions from the public? Back to the council.
I make a motion that we authorize the city manager to release payment for vacant land in furtherance of the MBTA ultimate transfer station for $80,000 as indicated in the stipulated judgment.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Bildering,
Aye.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
All right, it's to you, Frank.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Next item, number 19, wastewater treatment and owner's representative. So the recommendation from staff is the city council authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Carollo Engineers to provide engineering services for the furtherance of the citywide wastewater treatment project in the amount of $391,592. Just by way of some background, and actually on the phone, or not on the phone, on GoToMeeting, we also have a representative of Carollo Engineering, Andrew Frost. If the council has any questions following my my staff report. So just by way of background, the citywide sewer project is really in 2 components. One You have the plumbing, the mainline collector, along with all the collection pipes that ultimately will connect the system to the plant. So the plumbing is one phase, and that plumbing is under the design of NB5. They're working on it currently. Separate from that is, how you treat that effluent. And the treatment plant design team, as presented this evening, would be Carollo Engineers. The city put out a request for qualification, or an SOQ, Statement of Qualification. This is a very typical process because you just don't want a company to come in just to throw out a very low. You want somebody very highly qualified to do something very specialized, like a treatment plant. So we put out the RFQ. We had 3 proposers to this: Carollo Engineering, Webb Associates, along with Dudek. A 4-member panel consisted of myself, Matt Schrag at 29 Palms Water District, Mike Pottergrass with Charles Abbott Associates, and Ed Music, the retired general manager at High Desert Water District. And the team unanimously picked Carollo Engineering. They are one of the foremost experts in this field in California. And, part of their task kind of will be laid out in 3 components. A lot of decisions that need to be made, with the treatment plant. Confirm the flow loads of that effluent. Site selection, very important. There is a preliminary location that MB5 came up with in their feasibility study that really needs to be taken now on by Carollo Engineering for confirmation. The process selection, how the effluent will be processed, disposal options, solid waste management. So a lot of decisions that need to be made from the plant side, along with putting the another feasibility study together that, will ultimately, the first feasibility study was approved by the state, the NB5 had, but this one will be more for the plant. And it also will, Carollo Engineering will be submitting the grant submission in the November-ish time frame, November, December, to the state. That is the time frame that we are looking at to get this project both fully funded by the state. It is first come, first served, and these are the steps to get us ready for that. Then finally, they will be, doing the engineer's report for the wastewater treatment plant. One other task that they will have, which is called owner's representative, and very specifically, with a small city, small staff, the expertise is limited in areas, one of which is in wastewater. So Carollo will serve as the extension of staff to review the submissions of NB5 on the sewer system for appropriateness. And again, just for the eyes of the city for completeness. So those are the tasks that they will be performing. And again, we have Andrew Frost on with Carollo Engineering if the council has any questions. So with that concludes my staff report. I'd be happy to answer it.
Any questions from the council? Okay. Any questions from the public? And we have Cindy Bernard. No problem.
So I just wanted to point out a couple of things with regards to this wastewater proposal. Looking at the language in the staff report, it hasn't evolved since Frank presented it in February. I find this to be really problematic. We've got this wastewater system that's being pushed forward, but it has yet to be defined in any way for the public. What's the service area? It's not citywide. So what is the actual boundary of the service area? I bet none of you can answer that question. I would love to hear what that is. The streets, like between this street, and this street. That's what we're talking about. We don't know that. We also know that it's highly unlikely that this is going to be fully funded from the state. It's like very slim. So if there is a budget shortfall, how is that going to be funded? It's going to have to be funded through an assessment or a sales tax. I feel it's not being completely honest to say it's going to be fully funded. So what's the plan? And I hope you guys begin to ask these questions on behalf of your constituents. Thanks.
Any other questions from the public? I bring it back to the council. Questions?
And Madam Mayor, if I may, answer
Yes.
that comment from the public. So when we presented the NV5 contract, the phase 1 boundaries was included as a map in there. It roughly is, I don't have the map in front of me right now, but it is roughly north of 2 Mile Road, is west as Turtle Rock Housing Development, as east as Lincoln Housing, and as north as Amboy Road. Part of the specificity of developing the plan is bringing the engineers on board. It's concept. Now the engineers are working through the process, in some cases value engineering to see what can and what cannot be connected, location of the plant. So that is how ultimately we will get to the specificity of the plant. But it is in concept, and now the engineers are working on that. One thing I failed to mention in the staff report, that all these tasks have been grant funded. We currently have, and this includes the USGS study, about $4.2 million that we've acquired from various sources, which could go up to $5.5 million. Congressman Obernolte has another $1.3 million in the FY 22-23 federal budget, and he is carrying that for us as well. He got a $680 some odd thousand last budget year, and he's trying to carry it for us this year. In November, as mentioned, that's when the submission to the state, will be there, and the state is not sure of how many disadvantaged communities will be ready. It's a very tight timeline. So the state, they even had a presentation most recently a month or so ago at our regional board, which is the Colorado Regional Board, Palm Desert, and said the same thing. They're not sure how many small disadvantaged communities are going to be ready, but we will be ready. The City of Twentynine Palms will be ready to access the funding for that. If we are not successful in 100%, definitely that will be coming in front of the council for future action. But the goal is, and the application will be for 100%.
Frank, so
Cool.
the monies we've been spending on it's all been grant money, correct? So we haven't spent any general fund money to do any of this.
That is correct.
That's correct. So what we're doing is we're utilizing the money that other people could have been using also, so we can get this study done, so that we can find out where it needs to be, how it needs to be, and how far. I mean, that's what we're getting educated on.
Yeah, that is correct. There's going to be a lot of value engineering that they do. In concept, it makes sense to go to X Street by way of example. But, as they get into the details, X Street may not be feasible for X reason, right? So you have concept, and now pencil goes to paper. This is what the engineers do best, and that's what we're paying them to do.
Thank you.
Frank, are they going to keep the public informed, like letters in the mail? Because a lot of our people don't listen to this council meeting, nor do they read the newspaper. Are we going to have a system where we can keep them updated on what's going on?
Yeah, so, one of the things as an earlier topic was the ad hoc committee. That'll be one of the topics that we talk about in there. Based on my experience, and I've shared this with many of you and even others, I was the point person in Yucca Valley for public outreach. And I remember the first day we went out for discussion on it, and 100%, 99.9% of the people, the question that they ask is cost. So we need to be prepared to answer that question before we go out. Some people are interested in, the technical aspect of things, meaning how do things process, treatments, where's the lift stations, and et cetera, a lot of technical stuff. But the vast majority of people, that's what they want to know is cost. So that's what we will be talking about in the ad hoc committee, and we need to be prepared before we go to outreach with those answers, because that's what the people are going to ask.
Okay, any other questions?
Frank, on one of our websites, is the grants, how we're getting the grants and phase 1 anywhere on the website for the city?
The phase 1 is just in a staff report. So when we assigned the NV5 contract, I want to say last meeting or the meeting before, I can't remember the exact date actually, but in that staff report was the boundary map and concept in that staff report.
Oh yeah, I mean
we can though.
Yeah, we read it up here. I just want to make sure the public can see it too. So they all know.
Yeah. What we can do is, and we need to do this anyway, is create, and we do have a wastewater tab within our website, and we need to put that preliminary area map on there, and it's not, but staff will do that.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's out there for people to read, so we don't have 100 green slips coming up asking questions that's already out there online for them.
Okay.
Yep, we'll do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'm looking for a motion then.
I'll make the motion that the city council authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Carlo Engineers to provide engineering services for the furtherance of the city wastewater treatment project in the amount of $391,592.
Second.
I beat him.
He's older.
I can't.
Cut these guys off.
He's older.
Roll call.
Councilmember Klink,
I gotta go first though. Aye.
Because you're older.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Buildering,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay. All righty. Moving along. Future council initiated items. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 20? All right. Proposed budget revision for special revenue funds and other funds for fiscal year. It's to you, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This item is number 20. So the staff recommendation is approving the budget revisions for the capital projects fund, special funds, excluding projects that was approved last meeting, the enterprise fund, inter-service fund, successor agency for 22-23, and approve interfund transfers, the $3,118,608 from ARPA, then some other administrative transfers, $10,000 from gas tax, $10,000 from Measure I, and $110,543 from successor agency. Again, all administrative allowance transfers. Just to kind of go into the PowerPoint. So timing of things with this budget year is a reminder to council. We are in a year 2 of the 2-year budget. So we're in our final year of the 2-year budget. With this New Year's elections in November, we will start the 2-year budget process again with the 5 members at that time, since they will be all together for 2 years total. That is the thought process of a 2-year budget. So we are, again, second year, May 24th, we brought our preliminary general fund budget revisions We also brought it back June 14th for adoption. And then on July 20th today will be the special funds revision. On a typical year, you would want all your budgets to be complete in the month of June. However, as mentioned, we're in a 2-year budget process. So these are only revisions. We already have a budget in place.
Frank, can you make the
Yes, ma'am.
PowerPoint full screen for the public?
Is that better?
A little better. There you go.
Is that better? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for pointing that out. So the funds within the special funds, by definition, we have capital funds, and those are, hence the word, more capital-related transactions, which is a bulk of really what the special funds are. You have enterprise funds, and that's what we talked about earlier in wastewater treatment operations. It's business-like. You, in theory, and as mentioned earlier, you do not want a deficit spend in an enterprise fund. However, the situation that because it is a business-like fund, it's a unique situation, but nonetheless, an enterprise fund is where those transactions happen. Then you have inter-service funds, which are just an accounting mechanism to allocate costs. Then also, finally, we have our successor agency fund from our former redevelopment agency. Those are the funds that we're going to be talking about this evening. In total, from an expenditure perspective, about $25 million worth of projects, mainly within the special funds budget, most of which are grant funded. There is the PowerPoint shows a slight surplus, and those are the counts in front of you. Slight surplus in capital projects, traffic safety, and risk management. In an ideal situation, annually, you want to spend all the money, different from your general fund. You want to spend all the money you get for those various projects. So there's the budget as adopted in the 2-year budget and the revision. So, about a little over a $300,000 adjustment that we had, in the main accounts for a lot of gas-related increases that we had. When we performed the budget, especially in a 2-year perspective, a lot of, long-term guesstimating comes into play. As we get closer, we true it up. So for those tax revenues, we were slightly under that we had to adjust. One of which are gas revenues is SB1. Within the state budget, we filed a resolution, I want to say it was last meeting, to delineate the roads that we're going to do. We have to tell the state what roads we're going to do with those monies, and those roads on your screen are the sections of the roads that we're going to be performing this coming year. We include this every year, and it just kind of illustrates. I mean, these are our main dollars that we use for our roads. In addition to this, we have Measure I, but these are our main dollars that we have. And I keep doing this, putting it out there just to illustrate it. SB1 kind of saved our bacon, saved a lot of cities' bacon as it relates to, road funding, because as you can see, 13, 14, as conservation happened in gasoline, the money just started going lower and lower and lower, almost half. SB1 came into place, and as you can see, it's been increasing ever since. And this is not a percentage that is out there based on high gas prices, but it's based on, a flat fee on consumption. So consumption is still pretty strong, even with the higher gas prices that are out there. Capital projects, but just by category, we look at them in streets, parks, safety, wastewater, and some other projects that we'll talk about. So almost 24 million in total. From a street perspective, almost 2.6, a little over 2.6 million of, SB1 chip seal, public works, part of our gas funding that goes out there funds that department. Then also too, finally, is the median project by Stater Brothers from Encilia to about the end, almost the end of Stater Brothers. Will be that medium island for safety. Park projects, the big one there is the Lucky Park Pool, almost $6 million. And one thing, was on the consent agenda as we awarded the the pool contract. As we talked about last meeting, there was a dispute between the 1 and 2 bidders for the pool. So we ended up rejecting both bidders and rebidding on a short time frame. And because of that, they sharpened their pencils because both of them wanted the contract, and we got the price down to $137,000. So yeah, that's the pool project is now within the resources that we do have. The light poles at Lucky Park needs replacement, so that's an amount that we have set aside for that. Pioneer Park property acquisition, we've acquired one of those 2 of the properties for that, just to have the properties under city control. The Lucky Park shade structures, that is underway. I think there was some media on it today, I believe. So that has begun. A mower for the Public Works Department, and some accumulation of dollars for a well repair once needed. Just this illustrates what we were, down on Lucky Park Pool that now has been corrected with the Chad Mays budget appropriation, and it was only 1.3 million, but that 74,000 earlier with the pool coming down is now all with the budget. Some of the safety projects that we have, Split Rock Bridge, that is now fully designed. The little asterisk there, just as the council is aware, we have not secured the construction funding yet. We are seeking that construction funding, but I just wanted to put that asterisk out there for the council. The safe routes to school, curb cut and sidewalk. That is the 2 Mile Road and El Paseo improvements, both of which are fully funded through Caltrans. We've requested the E76, which is the authorization to bid from Caltrans, both of those, and it takes about 3 months for them to process it. Caltrans is overwhelmed with things going on, staff, so they're pretty far behind. That an E76 used to take maybe 2-3 weeks, and now it's taking 3 months to get out. So the same for the neighborhood safety project. That we've requested that E76 back in June. So, we're about probably 2 months out on that project. The other safety project is a Signalized street intersection project. And we're about ready to request that E76 from Caltrans as well on that. Pat Sullivan Bike Path, we have an amount earmarked. However, as the council recalls last meeting, we applied for the safe route. I think it was the safe route to school dollars there too for that funding. It was about $3 million in total, and that was the entire length of the project and property acquisition as well. So obviously, if we don't get the grant, we still have resources there to be a scaled down project. Wastewater, as we talked about before, these are some of the tasks that we have out there for development of our wastewater project. As mentioned earlier, again with the asterisks, they, almost $3 million, $1.275 million. That's an amount that has not been secured yet. Congressman Obernolte is carrying that for us, an earmark. It has passed the House side. Hopefully it gets through the Senate side. Senator Padilla is supporting that as well. So as mentioned earlier, I think Councilmember Mintz asked, all of these tasks are grant funded that are out there. And just to kind of illustrate this, I do have this tab open here. This is what we currently have in all of our funding. So the state of California, we have about, almost $2 million from the state of California funding. This STAG money is the federal earmark, the first Congressman Renolti earmark of 663. That city surplus is ARPA money, so not general fund money. It's city ARPA money, $500,000. The water district is, hasn't approved yet, but considering $100,000 towards the USGS study. Then the county of San Bernardino, Don Rao, got us $1 million for the task associated with developing wastewater. So that's $4.2 million in total, as mentioned earlier. And just kind of wrapping up here, other projects. The Channel Trail is mentioned. The animal control building, $700,000 that we do have out there, which is a priority for staff. Capacity is somewhat of an issue with the small doing a lot of these projects. The Lucky Park pole project and the animal control building improvements, along with a re-roof of the building, is handled by an in-house staff, Eli Marshall, and there's just only so much time in a day to be able to handle all these projects. But the animal control building is a priority. The remodeling of the community development department to provide additional room for the increased staff, going over to the former dentist office next door that the city owns. The general plan updates along with the social equity elements. Channel Trail, or the channel on El Rey, that's a cooperative agreement with County Flood on that bridge. City Hall structures, the entryway into City Hall, we need to rectify that. The code enforcement vehicle, and then the street sweeper. So those are other projects. And then as mentioned, in our last meeting, we were $25,000 underfunded with the Channel Trail. But again, with the Chad made money with the pool coming under bid on a couple tasks on the pool project, cumulatively, we're going to be able to balance that since it was relatively a small amount. This just illustrates from a road perspective why we need to continuously work on our roads for maintenance. And it just illustrates the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars there are all maintenance related. And the more maintenance you preserve your roads, if we let our road get to a point where we have to reconstruct, you can see from an illustration perspective how much more costly it is to reconstruct a road. That's why it's so important for all our roads, as much as possible, to continue maintenance to make sure they preserve themselves so we don't have to get to reconstruction. And just wrapping up here, gas tax. One of the things that, and I know the council, just a reminder, Article 8 that we were splitting with the MBTA is now gone. We are not receiving any money for that. So the gas tax now has to absorb an additional 11.2% that otherwise was funded by Article 8. So that's in this budget. Traffic safety fund, we get a very small amount from traffic tickets. Our risk management fund, we have an SIR you'll hear us talk about, a self-insurance retention, which is basically a deductible. And so we have a fund for that, for deductibles or SIRs that we have. Lighting and Landscape District, public access TV. There's an amount on our spectrum bills that comes to the city for public access that we help fund things for public access as we're doing today. We have a T-bid that is out there, a special fund that's out there that is a T-bid, Tourism Business Improvement District. It's a 1.5 fee, and not a tax, but a fee on short-term overnight rentals. Goes to the benefit of developing our tourism destination. We have a landfill land use fund. It's an amount that comes from county for city cleanup and recycling. Then successor agency is just tax increment to to pay the debt on our bonds. So it's an amount on our property taxes that goes to pay the debt on our bonds. So in summary, or the recap, I guess, of the recommendation is staff recommends the approval of the admin fees, the three here in front of you, along with the transfer of the ARPA money to the general fund and approving the special funds. So that concludes my staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council? Okay. Public? Here we go. Cindy? Don't apologize.
Regarding these special revenue funds, the city funds the tourist board to $250,000 to promote 29 Palms as a city supporting the arts. Where's the money for the arts? The Public Arts Advisory Committee has just a $15,000 budget. They don't even have anyone that can go out and look for grant funding for themselves. In fact, there's a state grant right now that's due at the end of August that someone could apply for, but they didn't even know about it. I told them about it at the meeting a few minutes ago. So I respectfully request that council consider a 1% for art fund. It would be a special revenue fund. It could either be on new development or it could be a percentage of TOT, whatever. And from this, I would highly suggest that council find a way to hire a part-time cultural affairs person who can go out and look for funding to support the arts that is such a key part of the city's promotion of itself and such a key part of the city. And that's really all I have on that. Thanks.
Thank you. Heidi Hurd?
So in your budget, you're allocating money for land acquisition for Pioneer Park. Not Sky Park is like 2 miles away from there. Lucky Park is 2 miles away from there. That would be 3 parks just on this end of the city. What about the west end of the town? What about the west end of the city? Why do we need a third over here? We need something on the west end. Doesn't have, and yeah, Indian Cove would be great, but we need something on the west end. And the roads in Indian Cove, I don't see them on the schedule anywhere. And I've even emailed asking when they're going to be on the schedule. No response. I would like some answers. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Back to the council. Any questions? Comments? Frank?
And Madam Mayor, if I may just kind of address that last comment. So one of the things that staff does, we don't address roads independently. One of the things that we do, which is typical standard protocol for cities, is from a third-party perspective, we hire a company to do a PMS, a pavement management system, that evaluates all of our roads, ranks them from good to bad to et cetera. And so number one on the list is what we have to do this year, and I don't know what it goes to, but let's say it goes to 100. 100 would be the last road that we do within a 5-year time frame. So these PMSs are good for 5 years, and we have just completed it most recently, and we'll be bringing it to council and for the public for review to see the PMS so they can kind of see where their roads rank within the independent evaluation.
Thank you. Any
You're
other questions, statements from the council? Okay.
Will that be in the August meeting, Frank?
It will be. Yeah, okay. It's complete, so it's ready to be queued up. Yes.
Okay. Looking for a motion.
Me too. Okay, so I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2222 with all this stuff.
Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Klink, Councilmember Buildering,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Hey, Frank,
Yes.
can you ask the T-Bid about cultural affairs?
Can I ask the T-bid for,
About
yeah,
cultural-
T-bids, I'm sorry?
Yeah, about cultural affairs.
Yeah, the T-bid's in their budgeting process currently, and I want to say I'm not sure what the date is coming up from, so I'll talk to Brianne about it, if that would be of interest to them to promote the city, and present that to them. Ultimately, just from a timing perspective, just so you're aware, the T-bid will approve a budget, then it comes to you for final approval. Then it goes to the hoteliers to ultimately vote on it in a protest vote.
All right, thank you.
So I'll bring it up to her, but you also see it as well.
Okay. Then next is future council initiated items. Are there any council members wanting to add an item for the future agenda?
Hey Frank, you know that the trail that the gentleman gave me that piece of paper to take to SBCTA?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they want to know what we want them to do, and I think we need to get together with Yucca and Josh Tree in the county and see if we're all still in the same boat trying to get a biking trail from here to Yucca. So I think if you can look into that and find out about Yucca and the county if they want to still, and then get a meeting together. I'll definitely be on that committee if you want me to, if we have one.
Sure. Yeah, I'll follow up. And I think all of us, it's a good point. I think all of us are working on it independently, but really since that development of the plan really haven't come together collectively. Because individually, we've used it in the application, like Channel Trail as an example. I want to say that was the number one project within that plan. And we use that plan when we submit it to Prop 68 to ultimately get that. But we haven't really come back as a group to kind of talk about collectively. So good point, and I'll work on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council that are not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain professionalism, courteous decorum during their comments. There is a time limitation of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out name and address slip and give it to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included in the printed agenda. Public comments on specific agenda items will be deferred until consideration of the item on the agenda. Thank you. David Maldonado. Hello.
David Maldonado, and I live in the city of 29 Palms. I've been here before to talk to you guys about issues at a mobile home park I live in. You guys opened with water. At my mobile home park, for the last 6 months to a year, there's nobody been reading the water meters regularly. My water went out somehow, some way. I was the only one out of 20 units where my water went out. The manager gave me this and told me to put a new meter in, which he gave me. The water was not restored. I called in here and talked with Travis. Travis gave me a direct number to the state of California. The state came out within 24 hours, so I had no water pressure at all. Matt came out, saw the same thing. He came out with his guys, ran the water again, no pressure. This is days later. I went almost 2 weeks without water before it was restored. I called corporate in Yorba Linda. They never called back, myself or my daughter. I called Kenny at the hacienda where he manages, supposedly. No call back. It wasn't until Matt called U.S. Rooter Plumbing in conference with him to have them come out to run water from another tenant's pipes to give me water. The gas company came out and condemned the place because the water heater was on fire inside because there was no water going into it, up that hill and down into it. The pilot light kept lighting the flames. So what it was doing was reducing fumes and gases into my home. And when she came out, she gave me the whole write-up and said, you could have died. These people don't want to do anything to help the tenants in there. You opened with the violence in our city here that we don't see. Stephen Baylor of 29 Palms, who lived in the park, had attacked a man a month ago, another tenant, and got charged with assault with a deadly weapon in that park. I'd come to you guys and let you know that the violence, the drugs, and everything else that goes on in that park needs to stop. We still live in the city of 29 Palms. We still need to be safe. Management does nothing to protect us from these people, the drug dealers in there. We got a quarter of the population of the homeless living in there, and number 26. They're in and out of there all night long. It's on and on and on because there's no management. I believe that Mr. Fink is the owner of the property, who I believe needs to be contacted. The sheriff's out here. I've been in conference with one once a week in regards to what's going on with the billing. I'm being overbilled for water with no numbers for how much water I'm using. It just goes on and on and on. I let Matt take this book and go over it, and he said, David, it's there. I called the utility commission, and they told me it's considered utility fraud. Even though it's a third party reading the meters, nobody's reading the meters. When I went and talked to Kenny, he says I was just guessing. And this is time for this to stop now. I'm a 64-year-old retired man with small pension, Social Security retirement, and he's fleecing me. He's taking my money with the other 20 people in there. Have another lady in here that came and gave me hers. She's getting overbilled, $70 a month in water. Our bills, when I came in, it was $13 a month. Matt read, he put everything down on what the water cost the unit and taught me something. There's too much going on in the park where I'm now going to ask the sheriff department to come in with an investigation, because this is not right. There's 20 of us families in there that are getting billed, but nobody's reading the meters. It's not right. You know, we're not rich. And, you know, we live from month to month to do what we're doing there. And for me to go without water for almost 2 weeks, and that's the man right there, him, who put my water back on. He mediated everything. I didn't hear from management at all. So that's why I come to you guys again. The problem with the violence is now going to come to a stop. Stephen Baylor was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. Finally. Tomorrow's court. Next week is court. They sent me a video of him running around the park at 6 in the morning with a knife in his hand that nobody ever wants to hear about it, but it's real. And these people are like sneaky creepers in the night and in the morning. It scares us. And the elder people in there don't even want to come out of their mobile homes because of these people.
Thank you.
But there's no management.
Sir, did you address this with the state? Because they're actually the regulatory. They're the ones actually who regulate this.
No,
We
you
actually
told
don't.
me that last time.
Yeah.
Noel, he's going to push this into an investigation with
Okay.
the state.
Yeah.
But you see, when it comes to utility fraud and
Yeah.
what they're doing, it's beyond that. This is where the sheriffs need to step in
Thank you.
and see what's going on.
Thank you. Cindy Bernard?
So I have another thing to ask of council, and this is sort of seconding what Heidi was saying, which is there are three plots of city-owned land just west of Indian Cove. One of them could easily be a park on the west side of the city. We really need it. The kids in Indian Cove, they don't have anywhere to go. If my little nephew visits me, nowhere to go. I'd have to drive all the way to the other side of town. There's nothing, there's no city amenities on our side of town. Nothing. I play tennis. There's no tennis court in all of 29 Palms. I play pickleball. There's no pickleball courts in 29 Palms. There's one pickleball court in the entire Morongo Valley Basin between here and Yucca, one court. So I'm just asking you to please seriously consider taking one of those pieces of properties and making a park for us on the west side. Thanks.
Thank you. Carrie Williams.
Good evening, Council. My name's Carrie Williams. I live in 29 here. I've been here over 28 years. I am asking y'all to consider a pickleball park. I play tennis. I play pickleball. I'm like Sydney Menard. I got to go all the way to Yucca or I go to Palm Springs to play. So I'm just asking that y'all consider putting up a pickleball or a tennis court where we could play pickleball.
Thank you. Anything else from the public?
I'm sorry, I didn't fill out the paper.
Okay, you can speak now, but you can fill out a paperwork afterwards.
My name is Bo Campbell. I live at 74221 Rocky Road. I just wanted to discuss with the council about the future of the vacation home rentals and wanted to ask you to open up the process again so that we could change this moratorium on only having 500 permits. I mean, we've talked about the budget all night. We've talked about many, many things. And we're promoting tourism. We want a fee for transient overnights. And all these things bring 29 together to be this artistic community that a lot of other people have brought in here too. So I would just like to ask that we reconsider some of those things and put it back on the agenda to open vacation home rental applications again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. City manager update.
So, Madam Mayor, members of the council, since I'm back in Pittsburgh, and I know you always like to keep me kind of short, I will be short. And just to kind of piggyback off of the last public comment, just so the council is aware, I don't have the exact number because it's always changing. But I think as of last reported to me, I think both active and pending, we're at 490 vacation home rentals. So we're starting from a staff perspective, starting to hear people, talking about exceeding that 500, which is probably why that gentleman who just spoke. So anyway, I just wanted to inform the council that we're getting pretty close to that 500, and we're starting to put out even some disclaimers as people apply that they may get cut off once we hit the 500. So people are starting to see that end date that is out there, which is starting to create some public discourse.
I'm sorry, Frank, can you repeat that number again for me? How many do we have?
It's always changing, but I think cumulatively, I want to say it was 3, and I'm going to go off of memory, so 320, I think it was, active, and I think 170 pending, for a total of 490, I think is last count that I received. So we're getting pretty close.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I add something after Frank spoke?
Actually, no,
No?
because the time for the public to speak has already passed. Go ahead, Frank.
I'm sorry?
Are you done?
Oh, yeah, that concludes. Again, I will be brief since I'm away from the office back in Pennsylvania. It's 10:30 at night, so I'll be quiet now.
Okay. All righty.
Steve wanted to mute you.
Before I close the meeting, I just want to as well put it out there that I picked up my package to run again. So All righty, we're gonna adjourn the meeting.
So are all three positions rerunning? Do we know that? Can I ask one?
Yes, I'll be picking my package up tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, all righty, I'll join the, I'm sorry. I'm adjourning the meeting.